Are you ready to unlock the secrets of brand innovation? Here you'll discover unexpected ways to make your brand soar in value. Get ready for inspiring stories, actionable tips, and insights you'll need to build your brand and learn an entirely new way to fly. This is the Hummingbird Effect. And now your host, Wendy Coulter.
Hi, I'm Wendy Coulter, president of Hummingbird Creative Group, and we help CEOs and marketing leaders unlock the power of their brands. For years, business leaders have focused on marketing tactics, but what we believe is really important is building a strong, effective brand. Have you ever experienced a hummingbird effect? It's like the co-evolution of the flower and the hummingbird. It's when small things happen in your business and it leads to something unexpected and big in a different area. So you might have a marketing initiative that you try, and then that leads to increase in sales. Of course, that's what we're all looking for. But it might also lead into a culture change, or it might lead into a new sales initiative of a new product or a new service. And so the Hummingbird Effect is what it's all about here. And I have Hummingbird's marketing strategist with me, Hanna Jernigan. Hey, Hanna.
Hello.
Hey, it's been a busy morning for us.
It has.
We've been in the office and out of the office a lot today.
And it's a busy week, month. We really kicked off 2026 running, and I don't see the stop yet.
Well, and today's been like a lot of creativity going on in the office. We're working on the mascot for the World University Games 2029.
Yeah.
And so the whole creative team has been busy over the last few days getting ready for our brainstorming meeting today. So that was
exciting. It was fun. It was a different project that we haven't really got to do before.
Yeah, we're getting to new, brand new things for World University Games. It's a lot of fun. So what fun fact do you have to share today?
Well, first, I guess, about me?
Whatever.
Oh,
you want to talk about Kristen?
Fact?
You want to talk about our guest?
Really?
We might could do that.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I guess.
There she is. There's someone else here with us today. Her name is Kristen Wynns.
Oh, good, because I don't think I had a fun fact for me.
Nothing for you today?
No, I don't. I'm not very good at mascot stories. But yes, so we are welcoming Dr. Kristen Wynns. She's the owner and president at Wynns Family Psychology to the show today. We're going to dive deeper into the world of brand building and how seemingly small innovations in branding, marketing, and sales can lead to big wins in other areas. So welcome. I do have some fun facts for you. You might have more fun facts to share.
Okay.
But just some things that I found. So you're the author of No Wimpy Parenting Handbook.
Yes.
I guess I should say, okay. You're the author of the No Wimpy Parenting Handbook.
Yes, nailed it.
Wonderful. You're a custody and forensic expert witness in court. You do humor coaching.
Yes.
Which you are known as Kiki.
Yes.
Oh,
ooh, you're already bringing out my alter ego.
Oh, we're going to learn more.
Very early in the interview to mention Kiki. But yeah.
We just start off with it.
Yeah.
And then I do want to know about buying Werther's Originals by the bagful in regards to your husband.
Oh my gosh. This is the most impressive homework anyone has done for me. I've done dozens, maybe up to hundreds of podcast interviews. No one has ever done such thorough research. Wow. Yeah, where shall we start?
So what's your favorite fun fact? Is it any of those?
Yeah. Well, the Werther's is hilarious. I don't know how you found that, but I drifted into stand-up comedy 3.5 years ago, and that is one of my most beloved bits that resonates with the crowd every single time. They love it. It's a whole joke about my deep fears, because as a psychologist, I'm supposed to be great at talking about my feelings, right? But the whole punchline is I'm great at talking about your feelings. Mine, I like to bury deep, get out a good bottle of bourbon. It's not healthy. So then I go into deep irrational fears, one of which is I'm afraid my husband is going to start to smell old before me. And then I do a whole thing like, y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows. And then I'm talking about how I think he's aging more quickly because he's been buying Werther's Originals regularly by the bagful. And every time people get it, like that's an old man thing to have his like bag out. And at night when we're cuddling, watching TV, he'll say, "Can you bring over the bag of Werther's?" And I'm like, oh, and then the butterscotch smell is all around. So good job on your
thank
research.
you.
Yeah, that one is true. Most of my jokes, like most comedians, does absolutely come from real life, and then I just take it and run with it.
Awesome. I'm so excited to learn more. And I'm very excited. We already kind of joked about it, but to learn more about Kiki and how she's played into everything. So if you're ready, is there any other fun facts you want to share?
I'm one of those people that I could tell you 50 fun facts right now. I mean, so many.
Blow us away.
Yeah, one today. What is it today?
Okay, one. I have an identical twin sister. And we didn't confirm we were identical until we were 40 with the DNA test. Because way back in 1975, it was like very, I guess, like primitive or how they would determine when twins were born if we were identical or fraternal. So the room, and back then it was a big deal too, where apparently there were 5 or 6 doctors in the room when we were born, and half of them said, oh, they're definitely identical, half said fraternal. So for 40 years, we didn't know. And my parents were divided. One said, you all are absolutely identical. The other one said, no way, fraternal. And then we just waited and waited. And then when we found out at age 40, we were ecstatic. We were like jumping up and down and clapping our hands and so excited because we really wanted to be identical.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
That's awesome.
That's a fun fact.
That is very fun. Well, I think we're ready to shift into the hummingbird effect.
Okay.
Well, let's hear a little bit more about Kristen and the practice and Kiki. Maybe a little more about Kiki before we jump in.
Sure. So shockingly, my practice, Wynns Family Psychology, which, by the way, you crushed pronouncing it. Sometimes people leave off the S with Wynns or butcher it, but great job. So Wynns Family Psychology, we just turned 18 in August. Crazy. And right now we have 4 locations. So I started off with a little part-time office in Durham where it was shared furniture with someone else. And then I outgrew that and moved to Cary, very close to where we are right now in Cary. And then through the 18 years, I've been really fortunate to build up my team of attracting other people who are drawn to our mission. So my passion has always been young people. So we've always specialized in kids and teens, young adults, and parents and families. So through the years now, I've brought other people on with other therapists and psychologists who have the same passion. And we have the 4 locations across North Carolina.
Great
in
job.
Cary, Raleigh, Greensboro. And then our newest baby, Fuquay, is about to turn 1. Aww. So that was very exciting last year to open up in Fuquay. And we're just so proud to be a part of this community. And we just got to announce finally that we won the local magazine Diamond Award for Best Mental Health Practice 4 years in a row. We've placed or crushed that category. So that just feels super special that all these people that vote on Best Mental Health Practice continue to think about us. It's just super special. And we love this community. We love to be a part of it. We love to give back, but just having the honor of being recognized at this point for doing great work is super special too.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is great. I just got an invite to the Diamond Awards.
I did too.
We
Are
may
you
have
going
to,
Thursday night?
Well, I just got the invite.
Oh, I'll be there
I must
all
have
dressed
missed
up.
the original invite.
Oh, it's so fun. Yeah, the gala is Thursday night. So my chief clinical officer, Dr. Salter, who helps me run the practice, she and I get all dressed up and you go and it's super fancy with the champagne and
you were
everything.
there last year.
Yeah,
Hannah was there last year.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
it's very exciting.
Well, congratulations on that. That is great.
Thank you.
That is great. And tell us a little bit about the other things that you have going on in the world other than the practice.
Yes. Well, so you mentioned the book. So it's kind of interesting how whatever season of life I'm in is also reflected with my side hustles, because I'm one of those people that I do feel blessed. I have extremely high energy and way too many dreams for one lifetime. So I'm just seeing how much I can pack into this lifetime. So I wrote the No Wimpy Parenting Handbook in 2017 when I was in the throes of parenting young kids myself. Now they're out of the house, empty nester life. They're 22 and 20. But back then, it was the throes of just being out in dance class or soccer practice and seeing parents giving the empty threats. Do you want to leave? Okay, we'll leave. Do you want to leave? And then they're still sitting there an hour later. So I had that just as a mom, and then seeing parents come into my office super frustrated, upset. Why can't the kids listen? They don't even like their kids, they would admit, in tears sometimes. Like, why is this so hard? So I wrote the book, and that's been a really cool way to get outside of the walls of my office or even my practice. I love having a resource that can be a quick, easy read, give parents tips to feel more empowered and confident, and again, help, thousands of people versus just our clients. So that's been a great resource to have for our clients to go along, parenting, coaching, or just to find anywhere. And then you referenced Dear Kiki. So post-COVID in 2021, I was a little bit stressed out and anxious like the rest of the world. We were all just a little rattled from the pandemic. So I took my own advice. I do a lot of webinars and presentations and interviews like this. And I had been given the advice during COVID times, you need self-care. Do something creative. Get outside of your, typical day-to-day. Do something just for you. So I took my own advice and I took an improv comedy class. I loved it. And then that kind of morphed to stand up because I am a writer at heart. And I joke about this when I do public speaking, but I always say, I do not mind a spotlight aimed right at me. I like to be on stage and I like to control the writing. So 2022, I did my first open mic at Raleigh Improv on a dare. My best friend dared me and said if I did it, she and her husband would go camping with us. And I'm like a huge quality time love language person. So I was like, okay, I've never been more scared in my entire life. And I am an adrenaline junkie. I love scary things, but I was terrified, shaking backstage for my 4-minute set in 2022, but it was very successful. And then after 3 open mics, Raleigh Improv reached out to book me for a paid show. And I was like, nice. Is this normal? And people were like, no. And it's been a really cool series of just like right place, right time moments where now I perform all over. I have a best-selling show at Goodnight's Comedy Club for the ladies. Oh. Ladies Laugh Lounge. The next one's coming up later this spring. I performed East Coast out in LA. So it's just been such a fun complement to my day job. And then as y'all hinted at, now the coolest thing of all is a hybrid of the two where I'm doing tons of speaking on the healing power of humor and laughter, which I didn't even honestly know about as a psychologist until I got into this. And then I have done a deep nerd dive into the literature. And there's tons we know about how humor helps us live longer. It helps our relationships. It helps our workplace culture. It helps our mental health, our physical health. So now it's just the coolest moment in my career to get on stage with various conferences and organizations. It doesn't matter who it is. I've had family law attorneys. I've had really serious budget government people. That was my first keynote in December to speak on that. It doesn't matter the audience, the message, it lands every single time where everyone realizes, oh yeah, like we should bring more humor and laughter into our lives. We don't do nearly enough of it as adults. So yeah, I got just a few of those balls in the air.
I think I'm already hearing some hummingbird effects.
No, so we haven't even started.
Yeah, we haven't even started yet. But all the layers of, how you've gone from one thing and then you've tried something else and that's impacted where you came from. Right. I think that's really like what we're here to talk about today.
Yes.
So I'm going to lead us into that question. And that is, tell us about like a specific instance where something seemingly small that you did within your branding and marketing made a huge impact in another area of the business or something else you were trying to do.
Sure. One of them is a bit related to what we were just talking about with just getting creative with multiple revenue streams for your business A, let's call it. So I can talk more about that. But the other thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this is it is challenging when you name the business with your own name in it, right? Like my last name, Wynns, was a part of it from the beginning. And I did find through the years that was actually tricky, where people would call up and they just wanted Dr. Wynns. They just wanted to work with Dr. Wynns. It's my name. So I did find that was an intentional marketing branding decision at some point, that I needed to just be much more open and, I guess, visual on our website, and even in conversations, to talk about the team, to try to have whatever people were excited about to work with me translate. Because as y'all probably know, if you're in a services business, we all only get the 24 hours in the day, right?
Right.
So I can't be the one to always sit in front of the client or to do, a bunch of the other things. I need a really talented team around me that has the same heart and the same mission, but that we can also get out there in our social media and our website and our branding and our marketing to say we at Wynns Family Psychology. So that was tough, but I do feel like we've been successful with that. And another decision along the way that is one of the smartest things I did was to develop a couple of my top clinicians into becoming clinical leaders with me. So now I have my top 2 psychologists that have been with me. One's coming up on 14 years, the other one 10 years. They were just independent contractor psychologists who joined my practice, but I saw they were really, really good at leadership and organization and vision. So through the years, I would just continue to promote them. And eventually, of course, at some point, they became employees, because you can't do that much with independent contractors. But at some point, we shifted them to leadership positions, employees. And that was one of the smartest things I did, because, again, sometimes you get a little bit, not selfish, but you get like, you hold your business so precious that nobody else could ever do it as great as you. But I have definitely learned trusting other people that share the vision, even if on a weekly basis we see issues differently. And they might be advising me, I think we should do this. And I say, no, I think this. I just find that is so helpful to have other people, even if they have different wiring and different personalities and different ways they would tackle a problem, because that's allowed me to really have that team approach at Wynns Family Psychology and not have seeing the clients or the success of the practice just rest on my shoulders at this point.
Yes. So talk about how embracing that idea of shared vision has impacted culture. Because obviously, can you talk about kind of how it shifted over time?
Sure. And I love the word culture. I know we probably overuse that these days in business, but culture is so important. And 18 years in, again, I've seen that the people around you that you bring into your business can make or break culture. And when it's not going well, if you have somebody that's just not in line with expectations or brings a negative element, I can see how it becomes contagious really quickly. So we've been interviewing in the last few weeks for new positions in my practice. And in every single interview, I'm talking about culture, and I'm just coming right out with what I just told y'all, that I need my culture to be one where we are excited to be at work. We do believe in laughing and having fun, because we're doing life-changing work that sometimes is truly, heart-wrenching. But that means more than anyone, we need to have an outlet to just be goofy and silly. And that is a part of our culture. But the decision to bring on, or I guess to promote the other 2 psychologists, I think that's impacted culture too, because I say this again when I'm interviewing, and it's true. I've never had somebody in the 18 years we've been open hit a ceiling of like, oh, shoot, there's nowhere to grow anymore in the practice. So for myself, for my own career, and for the people on my team, I want us to feel like, hey, there's no stopping us. Like one of my psychologists, I think she's had 4 or 5 different titles now where I'm like, well, now I see you're really good at this. So now I'm going to promote you to this. And then she was so good at that, I promoted her to this. So I do think that is hopefully inspiring to everybody, even if you're just a part-time therapist that just does, a couple mornings a week. I hope that culture of seeing we believe in leadership, we believe in never hitting a plateau, we want to keep growing. And that a little bit gets into the part 2 of my Hummingbird Effect of the multiple revenue streams. But I just think we should always be creative and never just think, okay, well, we know what to expect now. We're going to have these services and this is what we're going to be focusing on with our team. It should always be exciting. Okay, what are we planning next for cutting edge services or for my own particular career to get out of seeing clients in the office as much, but to still be doing things with speaking, coaching, my first retreat coming up this weekend. Just how can I keep innovating too? Because I think that's what keeps our brains happy. And it also keeps attracting people to your business if they see you've got that excitement for what's the next thing, whether it's a promotion or what service you're offering.
So you've mentioned a couple of things that are really interesting in our space. One is kind of shifting ownership from one person to the entity, even though you still have your name and the name of the company.
Yes.
And then the other thing is that entrepreneurs really think through so much and sometimes struggle with is how do I have multiple lines of revenue within the business to help grow the business to the next level?
Yes.
Talk about how you've been, and then you wrote a book as part of that,
right.
and the humor stuff. So talk about how that stuff, how have you measured results of those things that you've done?
Sure. And one more thing on the people around you, I really believe we need to be surrounding ourselves with people that are very different from us. So the 2 psychologists that are leaders in my practice, we joke and laugh about this on a weekly basis. I am, surprise, brace yourself, I'm big picture vision person. I know. Right. So I have the big ideas. Oh, we should do this. And then they are both wired to look 10 steps ahead and say, oh, but what about this? What about this? Okay, well, how are you what are the steps to get there? And I'm like, no,
just get there.
I want to do the big thing I said. So I do just want to note that sometimes that's humbling where I don't want to hear the reason why we have to slow it down and take 3 more weeks. I wanted it done last week, but I do think, again, that's one of the smartest things I've done is surround myself with those people that think differently. Also, I believe why my husband and I are still married 27 years later. He's that type, even though it drives me crazy. I said I wanted a lake house last year. Why don't we have a lake house yet? So as far as results, I mean, culture is a result that I know is not tangible, but I do think culture is part of why we win the awards because people can tell we're different and we care in a really noticeable way. But also, I started my business in 2007, which was a recession. Nobody in their right mind was supposed to be starting a business then. And I knew zero about business and my husband knew zero. I mean, I knew, I guess, from working for someone else, but we have bootstrapped it, figured it all out in the 18 years. We answered the phone. We bought the supplies, we cleaned the offices, we did the hiring. So I think we've been fortunate that we have never had years where we really had like a downturn in our revenue or just in our growth. So, I mean, it's tough times now. It's really tough for my industry. It's been tough since COVID with the competition from the online platforms, the BetterHelp. It's a whole new world. So yes, some of us are sweating referrals now in a way we haven't because you just have to keep thinking, well, how do I stay one step ahead from this competition? But I do think we've seen the results in being able to expand locations and add on the 4 locations. And even through the pandemic, we shut down for, I think, 1 week. And then we realized, thank goodness we're essential workers. And we were back in the office physically because we see kids. We couldn't do virtual sessions with a 4-year-old. So I think just in our expansion of our locations and our team, and the amount of clients we're able to help, it is a good nod to results from some of these decisions that we've been talking about.
Do you want to stay ahead with insightful tips and industry-leading knowledge to build your business value through better branding? Sign up for the Birds of Wisdom email newsletter from Hummingbird Creative Group. The newsletter is packed with expert advice and the latest trends to help you elevate your brand. Visit hummingbird-creative.com today to subscribe. Don't miss out. Join the community and let's soar together.
So talk about how the multiple lines of income have influenced the business, because you've got such kind of diverse things going on.
Right. And I think some of it is like what's to come next, because obviously some of these things are still fledgling little cute things. Like my comedy career is 3.5 years old. And then for speaking on the healing power of humor, I started that for the first time in December 2024. So I guess just had 1 year of that. But in the 1 year, I had 10 paid speaking opportunities, which is great. Now, they weren't like, super fancy stipends. And some I did for free. But I do think that potential now to have that out there where it's gotten better and better through the year. And similar with comedy, like I've had 2 conferences in the last year that hired me for both. So I would speak as, a breakout session or a speaker on the healing power of humor. Then they would have me come and do entertainment as a comedian. So that just like one conference led to being booked at another conference where she saw me at one. She was like, I want to have you come to mine. I want to do something different for the participants. So some of this is still in the early stages, but it's actually been great when I've been feeling a little guilty that I'm not in the office seeing 8 clients in a day like I used to. But then when I see I've got some of these other things with momentum to still be contributing revenue and just with reputation, that any of these things, getting the word out for Wynns Family Psychology, when I'm speaking about it, I'm always talking about my practice or writing about it, then it's still like great just keeping the I guess the brand awareness that, yes, we specialize in kids and teens and families, but even bigger picture, like our mission is to help people feel better. So whether that's speaking or having them read my book or in the office, it's really important to me to think of how we can just get outside of the 4 walls and still be helping the world and helping our community feel better. And then just this lake retreat that I mentioned, that was like a spinoff of these other things where in the comedy side, I mentioned my show for women because I have a mission to elevate the scene for women in comedy because we're underrepresented. Only 27% of stand-up comedians are women. So I have my show to elevate women and show that we can pack a comedy club just like the guys. But as a female boss for 18 years, I am all about women empowerment. And the more I get involved with networking groups, I'm just like, it's almost like I'm discovering it for the first time with how important networking and supporting each other is. So the lake retreat just came from that, with realizing I've learned a lot now through all these different things I've done for how we can help each other and how I can help women take their business or their life to the next level. So I've got 9 women coming to the lake with me this weekend who are just there for it. They want to learn about writing or humor or comedy, or just even developing their brand or their business. Yes, it's supposed to be a terrible snowstorm, and whoever saw that coming at Lake Gaston. So we'll see. We might end up power bonding and being stuck there for a week, but that's just another example where if you keep your eyes open to it and you're open to getting creative, you can just take your passions from one thing to the next. And I'm hoping with the success of this one, at least with how many I got to sign up. And assuming we come back from the snowstorm intact, I'm hoping that'll be something I can keep going for the practice as another creative revenue stream for years and years to come.
So I have a curious question about humor and psychology and kids.
Oh, okay.
So has that been like a differentiator for you in your practice to be able to deal with children and use humor to help them come through certain things? And how open are the parents to that? And is that something that really makes you stand out, because you do have like this such bubbly, friendly and humorous personality, but you might be dealing with children with some pretty serious things going on. So talk about the duality of that and how that might play out.
Yes.
In your practice.
I'm so glad you asked about that, because I do usually end up talking about that, especially when I'm speaking about humor. And I say, part of the reason becoming a comedian wasn't shocking to people is because I have always used humor in my therapeutic work with clients, whether they're kids or adults. And I tell a story that I had a client I worked with for 12 years who had complex PTSD, severe depression. There were many times she and I were fighting for her life together. But then I say she and I joked more than any other client I've had, where we were in dark times, but oftentimes during the darkest of times, she and I tapped into dark humor that was like, no joke, no pun intended, but she was a great example of that where, and I always caution people, you have to have a relationship built first. So it's not like you can just be yucking it up with somebody in an intake, like, we had relationship, but it was just a huge tool that we used in addition to all my fancy stuff I learned how to do in graduate school. At the end of the day, I think the humor we could use to connect or to let off steam was just as therapeutic as the actual therapy we did. And really cool side note, she's doing great now. She hasn't needed to see me for some time, but she texted me like a while back with a screenshot of a comedy show flyer that she had found online. And she just texted me and said, why does this not surprise me? Because she just was like, okay, of course, Dr. Wynns has become a comedian. But absolutely, I think it's part of what has made me a good child psychologist, because you can't be self-conscious or like too contained as a child psychologist. I would always say when I would be training new therapists, like I would be on the ground with my clients, playing, being silly, doing voices, chasing them around with the characters. So yes, I've always used like play and laughter with the kiddos and with their parents. You know, sometimes again in parent coaching, these parents are stressed out, or in marriage counseling, but you know, I have a way of kind of testing out. I mean, I think of just funny things all the time. So I would just let, you know, a comment come that would be humorous. And then you can just kind of tell like if it lands or not. But so many of my parent coaching clients, we would end up joking and laughing in marriage therapy. And again, it's, you know, right time, right place. But I just find that is such an important tool that many of us greatly underutilized. When I speak, I talk about how kids laugh 300 times a day. And do y'all have a guess for how many times we as adults laugh in a day?
No idea. Fun fact.
I know.
Is that the
Fun
answer?
fact.
Yeah.
Is it like 100?
15.
15.
15. Isn't that sad?
That is sad.
So we go from 300 to 15. So that's why
Wow.
I'm
Big
all
difference.
about like, let's just up that number a little bit. Like let loose, play more, be silly more.
Wow.
It's just like shocking how much that goes down as we mature and think that we have to be all proper all the time.
So as a business owner for you said 18 years,
Yes.
right? So what kind of advice, if you could give one piece of advice to other entrepreneurs, kind of based on the changes that have happened over the last 18 years for you and what you've been able to do, what would that piece of advice be, other than to laugh over 100 times a day?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Ooh, good question. I mean, I do think it's important to, I guess, not let the negative people get you down. I mean, again, through the years, I have found, especially sometimes as a female boss, business owner, and this is my personality. I mean, it is. So I think sometimes if I'm naturally bubbly and warm, I haven't been taken seriously. And I've had trouble with saying, no, seriously, I need this done. Like, it's my practice. This needs to be done in this way. And I do think through the years, like with any business, you're going to have people that don't agree with you or think this or that and say mean things about you. And I have found that I'm probably just not wired for it. I have found that really hurt my feelings through the years when people would be saying mean things behind my back, or even, online reviews can be terrible. But I've had decision points where I had to decide if I was going to, I guess, take the high road, so to speak, or lower myself and say, well, no, let me tell you the real story. And it has been extremely hard at times to take the high road. But I believe we need to be true to our character, be true to our values, and it wouldn't really be in line with my values or who I am to lower myself. So even though I wanted to fight back or sling mud, I have striven,
All three.
all of those swirled together to just don't say anything at all if it's not kind, or just say something positive. And I do think that has come back to serve me time and time again, because if I had lowered myself, I don't think I would have had the momentum to build these successes. So I'm proud of that. And I would just want to encourage anyone in business or in life, you're going to have people that say mean things about you or disagree with you. And sometimes it's tempting to want to just get right in there and sling it back. But I would encourage them just to take the high road and get support. Again, have your support network around you that reminds you who you are when you're like, well, am I this bad person? Have the people around you that you keep close that can encourage you and pull you through those tough times.
Oh, girl, my 17-year-old daughter just took the high road, and I'm so proud of her. But on the other hand, as the mama bear, you're like,
100%.
And I just kept my mouth shut because I'm like, if you're going to take the high road on this, that is a great thing. That is a great thing. So,
that's
great advice.
Awesome. Yes.
And I think it's so hard, especially teenage girls, but women of any age can really do it to each other.
They really can.
So, great advice. I agree. What about innovation and experimentation? Obviously, you're in it every day, but what role has that played in your business and Hummingbird Effects?
Yeah, well, again, I think we're fortunate that we specialize in kids and teenagers, because that already, I think, just has a hint at an element of play and innovation. But I do think, again, part of the reason we've been successful through the years, and by the way, we have always been at a network. So I've had that hurdle of clients who have to be okay with paying up front and then getting reimbursed. Most do, but it's still a pain. A lot of people just think, I want to be in network. But I think part of the reason we've been successful, even with that model, is we know with kids and teens, if you're going to connect, you can't be sitting on your chair and have them on a couch and say, okay, tell me everything. How are you feeling? You have to be innovative. So we use our outdoor space, which is really cool. So I have had countless therapy sessions where I'm outside in the little grassy area near our building, throwing a football with a kid or a Frisbee, or collecting acorns, or doing sidewalk chalk. And that's how you connect with kids. I would have a child on the autism spectrum out there, and he and I would be practicing conversation as we toss the ball back and forth to have that reciprocity, or doing things with personal space. So I do think, again, innovation to me just means not just having this constrained idea of what a therapy session is. And if I have a teenager that doesn't want to talk, then we're going to be getting out the art materials, and we're going to be coloring together or making jewelry together, or with the guys, again, having a reward for them that if they do this activity with me, then they can show me 5 minutes or whatever Minecraft or YouTube thing that they're into. So I just think that, yes, with our kids and teens, but even with adults, we need to just know it's not always going to be sitting there across the room and expect the person to spill it. We need to bring in writing or mindfulness exercises or creativity, I've had even adults doing art things with me while we talk. So I guess that's the first thing that comes to mind. And
I
wouldn't
like
you
this idea of therapy.
Right?
I love
we
this
could also
idea of
work
therapy. What
and-
do you think?
Yeah, and become my client.
I'll just bring my job, start.
Yeah. Oh, that actually does make me think of something else too. Sometimes people think therapy just means crisis, like, oh my gosh, I got to go in. But I love to preach that I think everybody should enter into therapy for just like health and wellness. Like I get my regular monthly massage because I know if I don't, then I will start to feel the tension lock in my neck and my back and all that. So I feel the same for therapy. I mean, everybody could use somebody, not their best friend or their spouse, to just be a sounding board, give objective advice. So I also think, I don't know if that's innovation, but I do like to encourage people, just consider therapy like self-care and wellness. And if you're not in crisis, that's even better, because then we can really take where you are in your life and just talk about, well, where do you want to go? What are your dreams? Like, what are barriers that keep getting you stuck? So that is also my idea of fun. And some of what I'm doing in my coaching now, believe it or not, that's like the 6th or 7th thing. Now I'm doing humor coaching, and it's so fun. It's kind of like what I was just talking about, where I have my one client so far that's a regular, but she's in a very demanding, stressful job and dealing with a parent with Alzheimer's. So,
wow.
I guess we could kind of call that a crisis, but it's more like a chronic stressor, right? She is doing the most amazing work with me, where we're turning her stressful times at work and caring for her mom into comedy. She's doing like a comic strip drawings and silly, like, improv scenes of her day job and actually like a mean girl at her day job. And it's been so fun because she just wants something different to think creatively. And that's, part of what the humor talk is about, is when we face tough moments in life, you can feel, kind of give into discouragement, sadness, frustration, resentment, or you can just pivot and find a more humorous approach to it. And not every time, obviously, tragedies and trauma is real, but a lot of times if you reframe it and find the funny in it, like she's doing, or even just find a creative way of approaching the problem, it's amazing how that can just take your life to the next level too.
Wow. What do you think,
Yeah.
Hannah? I'm going to toss it over to you because you've been taking notes like crazy with the hot pink
Look
pen
at that.
matches
That
Kristen's
beautiful
shirt.
notebook. Yeah.
I will say I didn't take as many notes as I normally do, because I would start and you'd start going on another topic and I didn't want to miss it. So I really took a lot from this, and I'm like hoping I can keep it all in my brain or re-listen and write it all back down. But I just kind of wanted to recap some of the things that I was hearing, and you just kind of added on more. So we'll see if I cover it all. So to anyone listening that is an entrepreneur, a business leader, or you're interested in becoming one, what I'm taking away from you is that your Hummingbird Effect, what the small change that was your Hummingbird Effect, was to look beyond yourself. And that for you, there was a couple of things. It was looking beyond your namesake business and allowing other people to hold and lead that business, which is hard.
Yes.
But it was also listening beyond your schooling and what people tell you is the normal thing to do. And you kind of just touched on that, where we think it's crisis. So I'm sure hearing this, it was like, well, do you laugh at the bad? But no, that's not what it is. It's just rephrasing a time that's hard to get through, or a vulnerable time for anyone to admit to needing to speak to someone.
Right.
And then that's where I kind of just started like scribbling a bunch of
gosh,
other.
A+ though. I'm like
cool,
moved
though?
like emotionally hearing you talk about my life. Like that's amazing. Yeah, really good.
But one of the big things that I starred to keep for myself, but was by looking beyond yourself, you had time to find your strength in other pieces. Your comedy coaching, your stand-up comedy, bringing women into a room together.
Yeah.
And you allowed other people who were not better, you started a company, it's successful, but people that maybe want to be in those office leadership roles a little bit more, you allowed them to be there, and you guys have grown, and there's so much I could continue to say, but those are some of my takeaways.
She has amazing insights always.
Well, as
really
not the
does.
business owner, I learned, and everybody that we speak to, I just learned something new, and you start to hear a little bit of connections, but the fun, I don't know if we've really had a lot of
Not intentional like,
fun.
Yes.
Right. Some things you
Yeah.
do
Yes.
allow the room for fun, but yours is kind of the opposite. Let's start with fun
Yes.
and we'll succeed.
Yes, and it's a habit that you can develop. Sometimes people think, "Oh, I don't have a sense of humor. I'm not that type." But humor is a skill and a habit, just like anything else. So there are all kinds of things I talk about with bringing that into your day-to-day life. But absolutely, anybody can bring more fun and humor into their lives. They just have to be willing to try just one little thing a day, and you can take off with it.
And it sounds like you allow for those conversations to happen. Because I have been with someone where it's like, a story I can think of is we were all taking a picture and we were like, do a funny face. And someone was like, well, I'm not funny, or I don't have that personality.
Yeah.
And that's obviously stuck with me that was said. Because I was like, what do you mean? Just stick out your tongue. Or, But you allow them to be the kind of funny that
They can be a sourpuss.
they can be whatever
be
funny
funny.
is funny to them. And it sounds as though you allow it if they have dark humor, if they have, I don't know any other types of humor, but but you don't judge
or
them.
self-deprecating.
You don't judge them for whatever it is, as long as everyone around you is having fun in their own way.
Yes, and I'm going to take your insight, Hannah, and then just do a quick boomerang, because you just gave me one. So I like the word fun as a recap, but also I just had this thought that I've never thought about before with authenticity.
Yeah.
You can never be a good therapist at all if you're not authentically true to yourself and the way you talk and whatever. Clients would not want anything to do with it if you were just trying to, conform to something. On stage as a comedian, if you're not delivering material that really resonates with you and what you find funny, the audience isn't going to laugh. And as a public speaker, if you're standing up there speaking about something that you don't really have burning with passion in your heart, it's also going to be kind of a flop. So I just had that thought that authenticity is also like a key thing. And again, just like your example of the person that said they don't have a funny face or they can't do that. Like, we get too much in our heads. Like, just be yourself, just whatever comes out. Don't think about it. Just do it. And then the rest will follow.
And surround yourself with people that wouldn't, judge you, or
That's
I guess,
right.
or judge you and tell you that was ridiculous. So you can be better friends. But yeah, that's just something that was in my head the entire time you were speaking.
Ooh,
just
yes.
allowing people to be their best self. And you kind of touched on that, of having good people and trusting in your people and then promoting from within. I think that all goes to just letting people be authentic.
Yes.
Where you are.
Ooh, we've just been to church on a Tuesday afternoon. Yes, preach.
Oh, Dr. Wynns, thank you so much. This has been amazing. It's great to see you again.
Yeah,
have
you
you in
too.
the studio. And we really appreciate you giving us your time this afternoon and coming to church.
Of course, yeah.
So for our listeners, tell them how they can get in touch with you, how they can find you, and all the things.
Okay. My website is a great first stop, wynsfamilypsychology.com, WYNNS, wynsfamilypsychology.com. That has tons of resources. We also do a ton on our Facebook page. So if people follow Wynns Family Psychology, it's mostly resources and tips, very little. I mean, we might talk about events we have coming up, but we really want that to be easy resources for people. And then On the comedy side, if people want to see Kiki in action, they can follow me on Instagram. I also use that Instagram for speaking and the lake retreats and things. So that's Kiki's Comedy Club, Kikis, Kiki's Comedy Club. And by the way, I thought when I first got into comedy that I would keep my worlds completely separate and no one would ever know that Dr. Wynns was the same as Kiki. And then that all fell apart the first time I performed. But oh, and I also have a website for the comedy stuff too, kikiscomedyclub.com. So that's probably a good place to start. They can also find me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy for anyone to reach out to me, even if they don't want to work with me directly. If they just want to know, well, what should they do about this, or could we help with this? I always welcome that. So people can find my email on the website or DM me with this social media, and I'm always happy to be a resource because I've been around now for a while. So if I can't help, I can probably direct them to someone who can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all.
And thank you to all the listeners for listening to this episode today, and take what we've learned today and go find your hummingbird effect.
Thanks for listening to The Hummingbird Effect with Wendy Coulter. We hope you found this episode valuable. Please be sure to rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more or to work with Wendy and her team, go to hummingbird-creative.com.